66 times this season. He's scored 19 runs on 18 hits.
Welcome to the Magus Podcast. I'm Ryan Patota, and today we're here in the ESPN studio, home of the Golden Griffin Broadcast Network. Today, we sit down with the Director of Digital Media Arts of Canisius Athletics, David D., and Vinnie Christiano III.
Thank you for being here, David D., the Director of Digital Media for Canisius Athletics, and you're my professor for our sports production class, ESPN class, as a lot of people call it.
It's funny, I was playing sports and at a school where thought I wanted to do something with nature. Mm-hmm. And I remember being in the middle of the Adirondacks in 30 below camping, and I'm like, this just isn't for me. So then I started taking those things. At that time, computers were not as prevalent as they are today. Mm-hmm. So I took a computer course, and communications kept coming up. Mm-hmm. Right. I tended to gravitate towards directing, and did some graphics, some replay, and then I ended up being the main producer and main director for Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. I never sit there and feel like I'm actually working. Like, to hang out with you guys and to mentor you guys, I think is great, and I actually love what I do.
And I definitely would say, as a person being in it, the atmosphere feels like that. It's just a fun atmosphere. It's like we're coming to work, but we're not really. That's the feel I get from it when I go into the...
Well, you have fun doing it, right?
Yeah,
So if you have
100%.
fun doing it, now I've done my job.
Right.
I actually really enjoy being around you guys, and I kind of think of it as a team.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go right into that. Being that team aspect of a production, what does that entail, and how does different positions act as a team?
Well, it's almost like being another sport, like I said. So when you look at it, in TV production, there's a lot of different positions and a lot of different personalities. And I think I can gauge from my coaching background who can fit in where and what position. And it really is, so everybody has their own responsibility. Mm-hmm. Like if you're doing talent work, or Jonah's doing graphics, or Peter's doing replay, or reverse that a little bit. I try to put people in positions where they can succeed, have fun, learn. And the one thing that we do that I think better than almost all the schools that do this is, yes, we use you guys a lot, but we also put you next to somebody that's been doing it a very long time. Mm-hmm. And that way you get not only coaching from me, but those guys are almost like assistant coaches. Yeah. So they coach you up that way. If I'm directing or doing something different, I don't have time to teach you what's going on. Mm-hmm. Whereas somebody like Jim Zinkowski or John Horton or Sean McCarthy or Brad Buchow is doing a little bit of both. So they're teaching you how things go. There's a lot of things you could do. You could produce, you can direct, you can TD, which is cutting the cameras. You can run graphics, which is putting the scoreboard and any font in. We do replay. You have someone that shades the cameras, somebody does audio. That's the main job in the control room. And then on site, we do cameras, talent, secondary audio. So there's a lot of different areas that if you're into production, there's a lot of different positions that you can kind of hone in on. I like producing and directing because it ends up being, like you astutely pointed out, that the coaching part of it, I'm always coaching as a producer-director. Mm-hmm. But the thing that's most fun to me, to be honest with you, is to watch you guys grow. And I mean that seriously. Mm-hmm. Your class, the class that's taking the class for the second time, you guys really, like, when I look at that, I get proud of that. Mm-hmm. Because these are guys that I have no problem putting on productions now, and to see from where you guys started the first day of class, everybody's all quiet and meek and all that kind of stuff, and to see you guys grow and expand from there, I think that's the fun part. And don't get me wrong, one of the things I also believe in is when you're having fun with something, and that's one of the reasons we have such a great atmosphere in the control room, is I want people to have fun. You do better when you have fun.
Right.
Vinnie was 10 times more valuable than I was, to be honest with you. He's around your age. He's not like, the age difference between me and you is like here, but not so much with Vinnie and Colton. You guys are all around the same age, so they kind of serve as a buffer for that. But those guys are definitely more important than what I am, because they're down and doing everything.
The way the professional phase of life sort of goes now is that you have to really know how to do more than just one thing. Inherent specialization isn't really something that happens quite as much anymore in this field. I think one of the things that I value the most about this program, Andrew, is that the students get hands-on experience. That's not really the case at a lot of other schools as early as it happens here at Canisius, and I think that is incredibly valuable. Having those professionals and having those freelancers that have, decades of experience in the sports production industry coming in and explaining their experiences and their stories and what they've learned and how they've made mistakes in the past has certainly helped elevate the level of productions, like I'm sure David had said, because those variables and those experiences sort of mend together with a younger, different perspective, and then all of those eventually just kind of Lego block on top of one another, and the building results in quite a lot of learning.
You always taught me communication solves issues, lack of communication creates them. So yeah, it's just a big part of any everyday life, not just the media business.
So, are you familiar with movies?
Yes.
Do you watch a lot of movies?
Yeah.
You ever see Vacation?
No, I don't think so.
Vacation with Chevy Chase, a little bit before your time.
Yeah.
He used to say, "This is my credo. Communication solves issues. Lack of communication creates them." That's kind of my credo, and I'll be honest. I think when it's all said and done, that's going to end up being on my tombstone.
Yes. So thank you for being here. Great to have this sit-down chat and just talk about sports production, sports broadcasting, the ESPN room, and just everything that goes into a production.
Have me on anytime.